All right, it's a special edition of Shelter Sunday. We are here with Dr. Angela Maxwell from the Bunny Hutch. You maybe remember her back in Virginia Beach. She brought the big bunny last time. Well, now she has Blue the Savannah monitor with her here today. Good morning, Dr. Maxwell.
Morning, dear.
Sorry, I'm a little skittish. I'm like, just don't let him jump or anything. I'm a little antsy. Okay.
He's a good boy.
Tell us about Blue.
So Blue is African Savannah monitor. We also call them rock monitors. So they are legal to own, but he requires very specialized care, pretty much a room of his own, and he's only 2 years old. So full grown, he'll reach about 5 feet and eat approximately a chicken a day.
Oh, wow.
So the animals like Blue, we really transfer to zoo education departments, because we're really education foundation training young people to be zookeepers.
So not just anyone can take Blue home. Who would be a good home for, what would be a good home for Blue?
So he's conditioned to feed only in a feeder tub. So he's really great for a home that's got a lot of large reptile experience.
Okay.
But most people who have large reptile experience already have a Savannah monitor, a Chinese water dragon, Nile monitors. They already have them. So something like this was purchased at a pet expo in a little cup for like $40.
Okay.
On intake when he was only a couple of months old, he was 6 inches.
Oh, wow.
And they grow exponentially the first year they're alive, and he's only 2.
So he's 2. Is he expected to get any larger than this?
Yes.
So about how much bigger?
So he can reach up to 5 feet.
Wow. That's like my height.
There have been records of some of them weighing 100 pounds.
Wow. Yeah, that's about my height and weight.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that someone should know if they're interested in taking Blue home?
So something like Blue requires a large financial constraint. He's a carnivore, so the food to feed him has to be very varied. And he predominantly eats,
he's getting a little skittish.
You know, he wants down. He wants to go for walks.
Oh, not today, Blue.
So he eats
Just wait.
rats, mice. He eats, really, buddy? Thank you, I know. He eats rats, mice, chicken wings. He loves chicken wings. But he has been trained to do 2-finger touch. And if the family had extensive experience and an entire room that they keep to 80 to 90 degrees.
Okay. All right. So if you're able to give Blue the tender, loving care that he needs, just remember you can reach out to the Bunny Hutch in Virginia Beach for more information. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. And we're going to be at PetSmart today and kick off our animal food drive to help celebrate our induction into the American Zookeepers Association.
All right. Thank you. And remember, that's the Bunny Hutch in Virginia Beach, and we'll have more news and weather coming up after the break.